The video you just watched was shot about 4 hours into a day full of surprises that began with my introduction to the device. That first video you just saw shows that. So by the time this happened, and Paul began by making a statement that he was about to quote someone from a book that had been published in 1966, I probably tuned out. And then I came across the clip 5 years later. I watched it, and frankly, I really didn't understand what Paul was saying. And more importantly, I still wondered why he was quoting some guy named Gibson from a book that was published in 1966. So I found the book. This is the book. And frankly, even the title hints at a revolution that our friend Dr. Gibson was about to lay upon us with regard to how we perceive the world and respond to it. This is the title: The Senses Considered as Perceptual Systems. The senses considered as perceptual systems. Now, Paul mentions both of those terms in the same sentence, which is really a contradiction. But what he got right was what Gibson had to say about perceptual systems. The fact that they all worked in concert with each other. They were all somehow connected, linked. And this was the fact that changed Paul's world. Now, at this point, I'd like to remind us all that I wrote a book about all this stuff. And I dedicated the book to Paul. Reason being, a long time ago, a guy named Sir Isaac Newton made a statement. He said, "If I have seen further, it's because I have stood on the shoulders of giants." Well, that's true. What he didn't say about those giants, Copernicus and Descartes and Isaac Newton himself, was that they all made mistakes. Paul made mistakes too. But what ties him together with those other gentlemen is the fact that they were all visionaries. Visionaries. They were able to take something that they perceived at a point in time and project it into the future. In Paul's case, he took what he read from that book about the perceptual systems being somehow connected, and it took him 40 years, but he eventually produced a device that allows blind people to see through their tongue. This is that device. Once Paul and his associates developed that initial device, they hit upon the concept of producing a similar device that restores people who had balance problems. They created the device, but got stuck in trying to figure out this therapeutic effect. What was actually going on? Well, it took a thorough reading of Dr. Gibson's books, true, to figure it out. And that's where we are today. We're about to introduce something we call the perceptual re-educator. And it's all based on what Dr. Gibson had to say about perception. Read on.